Hearty welcome to all. This is information age, Google age. Want to learn something? All you have to do is take out your mobile and at the fingertips, you have all the materials available to learn any subject in this planet. For example, want to know the structure of water? You just go to Google or Alexa and ask what is the structure of water. It will instantly say it consists of 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom. Want an answer to any problem? What is the square root of pi? Instant answer is available. Today when teacher take classes, especially online classes, even before the teacher starts his class, the student will search in YouTube and will instruct the teacher about what he has to say in his class. This is the era in which we are in. In this information era, what is the change we need in the role of teachers? Long before, a chemistry teacher would for lifelong study about all matters related to chemistry for years, and later he used to come to class and take classes to the children. But today in chemistry, if you want to know about a particular subject, for example periodic table, you just ask YouTube and the world's best experts will explain it in the most efficient way. When quality content is freely available everywhere with various choices and options, the question the parents and children ask today is education in school is really needed? Why should someone send his child to school when all the learning contents are easily available on the internet? Well, to answer this question to students and parents, we need to go back in history and have a glimpse of the world's first guru to be recorded in historical literatures, and that guru is none other than the Dhronacharya of Mahabharata. If you take Adi Parva and in it, if you go to the 7th Sambhava Parva, chapter 80 to 120, you can see a detailed explanation of how actually Drona trained Pandavas and Kauravas. Dhronacharya did not teach them sitting under a tree. He actually played a dual role of being a teacher for their education and a coach for their knowledge skills. Just like we have coaches for sports person, teachers should be now the coach to develop the knowledge skill in students. In general, teachers are meant to give education and coaches are meant to develop one skill. So now, teachers has to be the coaches to develop students' knowledge acquiring skill. The role of the teacher to give information can be replaced by YouTube and online learning, but this role of a coach can never be replaced by any online information technology. Hence now, with all the best learning contents available to students at fingertips, now the role of teacher should change from the role of a teacher who is imparting education to the role of a coach who is imparting knowledge skills. Now the question is, what is the difference between education and knowledge? In very simple terms, when teacher in a classroom explains Newton's laws of motion, it is education. But when a student explains how he uses the 3 Newton's laws of motion in playing carom and is possible to precisely put pawns in the poach using striker, this is called knowledge. So education means learning. But in real life situation, what learnt information has to be used in a particular situation, that is imparting the application of learning in real life, is what we call as knowledge. What is good education? What is the strength we need to add to children through education? There is a sloka in Rig Veda, Vidya Nama Narasya Kirti Ratula Bhagyakshaye Chashrayaha. It means that the main aim of education is to develop wisdom in the humankind. Wisdom comes from reasoning power. Today, education means it's not about learning something what has happened in Europe, Asia or America. Education means it is not just knowing what Newton has told about motion or what Einstein had told about the theory of relativity. This kind of informations are all easily available all over YouTube and internet. But the thing that YouTube and internet cannot teach children is the reasoning power and the problem solving skills. Adaptability of what they have learnt in school into their real life. This is the most sought after skill globally, and to empower every child in India with this skill is the goal of the new education policy, and the teachers are having a very challenging role in making this a success. Now what is wisdom? To know what is wisdom or reasoning power, we have some beautifully illustrated examples in our mythology and history. One such story is the story of Dhruva. According to Indian mythology, the first man behind our land civilization was called as Manu. Uttanapada was his son and he had two wives, Suruchi and Suniti. Suruchi's son is Uttama and Suniti's son is Dhruva. Once when Uttama was sitting on the king's throne, Dhruva went to sit next to him but was abused by Suruchi and he was told he has no qualification to sit there. Being very hurt and insulted, Dhruva was with his mother Suniti thinking that it was his destiny. But once Muni Narada arrived, Uttanapada and Suruchi took him to the throne, made him sit there and showered him with great respect. Seeing this, Dhruva asked Narada what he has to do to get the same respect, and Narada told that it needs wisdom. He asked, where do I get this wisdom? Narada told that only Lord Vishnu can give it to him. And so he asked him to do penance or tapasya in forest to meet Vishnu. So Dhruva went and did a very hard penance, and after a very long and hard tapasya, Vishnu appeared and blessed Dhruva. Later Dhruva came back with wisdom and became the ruler of the kingdom. You may think that this is some fictitious mythological story. Some king does tapasya, Vishnu comes and magically gives him wisdom, and suddenly Dhruva becomes king, and all may seem unrealistic. But if you go through the deep meanings in Vedas, which many scholars in India have done, you will get the exact philosophy behind this story. Well, it is said that in reality, Manu was not the first human. Before the arrival of Manu, humans were there, but they were not evolved as they are today. Evolution says humans evolved from apes, and at that time, humans were still like apes and monkeys. It is not regarding their look, but regarding their mentality and thinking. Even today, when you see a monkey, throughout its life, the monkey keeps searching for food. And when it gets a tasty fruit, it just eats and enjoys, but it never thinks about what makes the fruit tasty or from where this fruit is coming from. It eats when sun sets, it goes and sleeps, and again morning wakes up, eats, finds a good female partner, reproduces and takes care of the baby a few days, and then the baby monkey also follows the same cycle. Search for food, eat and sleep. It never thinks beyond its requirement. It is said that before Manu came, all humans on this planet were similar to this monkey. Eat, sleep, get attracted to a female, give birth to a baby, look after it, and spend the life only in search of food, eat it, and then sleep. However, after Dhruva tapasya and Vishnu blessings, the scenario changed. After years of hard penance, when Vishnu appeared before Dhruva, did you know exactly how Vishnu blessed? He just rewired his brain and activated a few neural connections in his brain. The result was now Dhruva was able to reason out things. What Vishnu did to Dhruva is in today's medical world is called as neuroplasticity, and we will discuss in detail about it later. By this, the change Dhruva saw in himself was he was now able to reason out things. For example, when he saw a fruit and ate it, he then asked himself a question: how is this fruit sweet? From where did this fruit arrive? After questioning, he then researched to get answers and found out that the seeds of the fruit grow up as plant and then tree and later gives this kind of fruit. Understanding this principle, he then went to his kingdom and mass-produced food and made the people in his kingdom flourish. This kind of reasoning out everything we see in our life is what we call as reasoning power or wisdom. So now, according to the deep meaning hidden inside the Vedas, what Vishnu gave Dhruva was not some magical gift or something materialistic. What Vishnu gave Dhruva was education. This is the first documented starting of learning in human civilization. As a symbol of knowledge and to showcase the birth of thirst for knowledge in humans, the brightest star in our universe, which we actually call as polar star, is actually named as Dhruva Nakshatra. This symbolizes the birth of education in human race. Now coming back to our mythological history of India, the first human of our race was Manu, and he did not have just one son, Uttanapada, but he had 10 sons, and one of them was Ishkvaaku. He was Dhruva's father's brother, his uncle. So learning about Dhruva, he also went to do penance, met Vishnu, and got the wisdom as the gift. Using it, he also became a ruler and ruled this subcontinent. This system then became a practice. After Ishkvaaku, he sent his son Vikushi to do penance, and he earned wisdom from Vishnu and ruled. Then came his son, and this cycle continued for about 5,000 years. And later, as the 43rd ruler in his family, came a ruler by name Bhagiratha. By the time Bhagiratha was born, due to the wisdom in the genes of his 42 grandparents, Bhagiratha had wisdom by birth even before he went to do penance to get it from Vishnu. Now, before doing his penance, Bhagiratha was able to think and analyze. He found out that the wisdom that Vishnu is blessing him can be activated in humans by a sacred water called Ganga. He then came to know that this Ganga is in the head of Shiva. So when his father Dilipa sent Bhagiratha to do penance, he did the penance of Shiva instead of Vishnu. So Shiva appeared, and when Shiva asked what he wants, he told Shiva, "Oh God, every time a family member from Ishkvaaku does penance of Vishnu and then gets his brain rewired with wisdom, and hence this wisdom is currently limited only to one family of Ishkvaaku in this world. My aim is to make every human on this world blessed with this wisdom, and this is possible only by Ganga, which is tied in your head. Hence I request you to release that Ganga to the world so that every human in this planet can be blessed with this wisdom." Hearing this, Shiva was shell-shocked. He laughed and said, "Bhagiratha, the knowledge of Ganga is a huge ocean, and if I give it now, the entire human race on this earth will be washed away, and hence it is impossible." So when Shiva refused, Bhagiratha returned back. But he did not sit quiet. He again went back and did severe penance again. Shiva appeared. He again asked for Ganga, and Shiva rejected. He again came back and repeated this process for almost 1008 times. He every time did the hard penance, and when Shiva refused, he again tried, and he kept on trying without giving up. This is a very good lesson that every learner in the education sector has to learn from the Bhagiratha story, and that is the greatest quality needed in learning, and it is called as perseverance. We will discuss this quality in detail later, but here this story can be a very good example for children to understand the importance of perseverance in learning. See, for example, all children are not born same. Due to genetics and other natural reasons, some children will have better grasping power than others. Some may grasp things faster and some may be slow. But when they are slow, these children are unable to score in par with others. Then due to the comparative attitude, these children lose their confidence in learning. To avoid this scenario, in the new national education policy, the children should never be discriminated based on the marks they score up to the standard of 6th. Whenever the child fails to grasp things, it should be motivated to keep trying. Show them the river Ganga image and tell that if Bhagiratha had given up his attempts thinking that it is beyond my capacity, then today all the humans on this planet would be living just like monkeys of today. Just search food, eat and sleep, and that would be just our life. Hence, the stories in Indian mythology, like the one discussed here, should be shared with proper context to motivate and develop the overall personality of the children. Now coming back to our story, seeing the unstoppable effort of Bhagiratha, Shiva was finally convinced to think about sending Ganga to earth. However, He cannot send it directly as the humans have no capacity to withstand it and may finally get flooded away by it. In today's context, this is exactly what is happening in education today. No doubt, all information contents are easily available to everyone and everywhere. But the quantity of this content is so huge that instead of learning, the children are just getting flooded away by this information. Hence, the need of the hour in today's education system is to streamline the knowledge so that it is fed to the children in the proper way. To understand this streaming, we have to see how exactly Shiva released Ganga onto the earth by making it pass through the 5 prayags. If we understand the principle of these 5 prayags, we will be able to understand the technique of how to learn, how to make our students an efficient learner. So from our next session, we will walk through the 5 prayags of Ganga to understand the technique of how to learn and how to make our students learn efficient. So let us meet in our next session.